Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jericho's Daily Fantasy NBA Breakdown. As always, thanks for tuning in. Tonight was a fucking disgrace. 3 of the worst fucking basketball games you could ask for. The Phoenix Suns sucked a fat dick in the first half. It's probably the worst first half of basketball that I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. What the fuck? TJ Warren had 1 fucking fantasy point. 1. And don't even get me started on the fucking injury news that decided to just fucking pour out. Kenneth Faried, the manimal, what a fucking pussy. Let's change your name to the fucking pussycat. You are a little bitch. You get carried off in a fucking stretcher. A fucking stretcher. You give the thumb up to the fucking crowd. Like, yeah, I'm good. I know that it looks like I might be paralyzed, but I'm fucking good. Everybody cheers for you. Everybody worries about you. And you come back the next fucking game. The next game. You're a fucking pussy. A fucking pussy. Fuck you, Kenneth Faried. Fuck you. Come after me, motherfucker. You fucking pussycat bitch. Alright. I had to get that off my chest. Luckily, Damian Lillard was ruled out, but the Darrell Arthur pick was hinged on Kenneth Faried sitting. And I think if Faried sat, Arthur would have gotten his 20-plus fantasy points. Everything would have been completely different. Nobody had the Kobe news, yet everybody still rostered Lou Williams. 50% owned. 50%. Lou Williams, 50% owned. When Will Barton and CJ McCollum are on the fucking board. Yeah, that fucking happened. Not to mention Devin Booker was also on the board. And for some reason, 50% of people decided they'd play Lou Williams when Kobe news wasn't out. Are you fucking kidding me? Will Barton, 7 fantasy points, I think. He might have gotten a little extra at the end. Fucking disgrace. The whole fucking lineup. I got it right here. Julius Randle played 15 minutes in a blowout. Are you fucking kidding me? 15 minutes in a blowout for the young guy that you're trying to develop. You play him 15 minutes in a fucking blowout. The coaching tonight, the games, it was a fucking disgrace, and I shouldn't have fucking played it at all. From now on, 3-game slates to my subscribers, I don't fucking play them. 3 games is a fucking disgrace. It's not even a coin flip. It's a fucking nightmare. I will never play a 3-game slate again. That being said, we did cash at DraftKings, it would appear, even with all the bullshit that went on. At FanDuel, not so much. Too many duds, too many people that didn't do their fucking job. Luckily, Gallinari and McCollum at least stepped up. Let's go right in. We got 10 fucking games to break down. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. First game, Toronto at Cleveland. It looks like Cleveland's favored by 8 points, and you have a whopping 192 over-under. There's not a whole lot that I really love in this game, but let's go through it anyways. There's no injury news, so I do love that. Hopefully nothing that can fuck us now that I'm looking at it. LeBron James at 9,800. I love that price point. He had a night off, which is big, and I think he'll see 35-plus minutes. 8-point spread, I'm not really that worried about. I think Toronto can keep this game close, and LeBron is... in my projections, it looks like he's going to get around 45 fantasy points. I think that's pretty solid for 9,800, and he's very consistent for the most part. Obviously, he's had a few duds over the last couple weeks, but as a whole, LeBron James, very consistent. Hopefully, he doesn't come out and say he's sick, so I have to fucking swap him at the last second. Kevin Love, down to 7,300. I really like that price point. I think he has a decent matchup, so I am not opposed to that either. Both of those guys are pretty solid cash game options. Kyrie Irving, he's not seen enough minutes to validate his price point at 7,400. I'm not going to go there. Tristan Thompson is a guy that I played over Cody Zeller, and it paid off big a couple nights ago. And I am all for rolling Tristan Thompson out again. I think he's one of the best cash options that you're going to find, probably on the entire slate, even though I haven't looked at any of this. I go through it as I talk right here. It's not something that I study for. I just kind of use the knowledge that I have and my projections that I have in front of me. Matthew Dellavedova, not an option. J.R. Smith, not an option. Iman Shumpert, not an option. So on and so on. Mozgov, Jefferson, Mo Will. Not going to touch any of those guys from the Cleveland side of the ball. If we move over to Toronto, Kyle Lowry is a little overpriced for this matchup. I don't love him. DeMar DeRozan, you're kind of looking at the same thing. Jonas Valanciunas has been playing very well at 5,600. I would consider that in a GPP. I'm probably not going to roll him out in cash because there's got to be better options at center. Damari Carroll, no. Scola, no. Joseph, no. And I think you get my drift. That's pretty much it from this game. I know a lot of you guys take notes, so you can put LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson down for cash games. And I really don't like anybody from the Toronto side of the ball, and Jonas Valanciunas as a GPP option. When I say GPP, I mean tournaments for any new guys out there that haven't played a lot of DFS. DFS is daily fantasy sports. Minnesota at Philadelphia. Minnesota's favored by 5, and you have a 204.5 over-under. Should be a ton of fantasy value in this game. Starting on the Minnesota side of the ball, and by the way, Hollis Thompson is questionable for Philly. That's the only injury that I see from this game. Karl Anthony Towns at 7,800 is a very solid option in cash. He's also solid in GPP. I am a little concerned with his minutes the last game. For some reason, he didn't play a lot of minutes. I know he had a poor shooting effort from the field, and maybe that played into it, but he's usually a guy that's really getting a consistent amount of minutes, and you don't have to worry about it. So that's something to keep in mind, and it might scare me off of him in cash, despite the amazing price point and value that we see in him. Ricky Rubio at 7,700 is a definite option. I lean more towards him on GPP because he can throw up a dud, although lately he's been very consistent. So Rubio, borderline cash, and definite tournament option. Andrew Wiggins, I can't roll him out in cash, but also a tournament option. Gorgie Jing, yeah, his price back down to 4,800. I think that that's somebody that I would look at in a cash game or tournament at his price point. Zach LaVine, his price is down to 4,500. Definite tournament option, just because Philly can get blown out at any time, and if Philly gets blown out, LaVine would definitely eat the option, or eat the minutes, and Gorgie Jing would probably do the same thing. So that's my reasoning in those guys being in a possible tournament lineup. And that's pretty much it from the Minnesota side of the ball. If we move over to Philadelphia, Ish Smith's price has gone to 5,700, which is still pretty reasonable, but he did have a huge dud the other night, and he's pretty turnover prone, and Rubio is really good at stealing the basketball. So Ish Smith is an option in tournaments. He is an option in cash, but I'll probably find a better value at point guard that I trust just a little bit more. Jahlil Okafor, no thanks. Nerlens Noel, I don't think so. Covington, no. Hollis Thompson, no. And that's pretty much, that's it from this game. If Hollis Thompson plays, I think you can consider him in a GPP. But as of now, he's questionable. So the next game is Boston at Brooklyn. It looks like Boston is favored by 7 points. And for those of you that didn't see the other night, Jarrett Jack has torn his ACL, and he is out for the season. So we definitely need to take that into account when we're evaluating Brooklyn. Shane Larkin is probably a guy that's going to get a lot of extra run, but it also gives a big boost to pretty much everybody else around. Boston's a very good defensive team, so we have to keep that in mind. On the Brooklyn side of the ball, Brook Lopez is becoming unfadable. On a big slate, I think he's probably not a guy you have to play. But anytime there's less than 6 games and Brook Lopez is on the slate, I think you have to pretty much lock him in at center. The guy's been mad consistent. He's been playing really well, and their entire offense runs through him. Thad Young, his price is down another $100 to $6,700. I don't love the matchup, but it's really hard to deny this guy's consistency and his minutes. And with Jarrett Jack out, I know Jack's a point guard, but I think Thad probably get a few extra minutes just because it shortens the rotation. Bojan Bogdanovic is a option in cash and GPP. He's been insanely consistent. And with Avery Bradley being out, I think that's something that we have to look at. And I think that Bojan Bogdanovic is a solid option in both formats. Bargnani, I don't think I'm going to go there. Larkin, we need to see what Larkin is. We need to kind of make sure that he's starting, make sure that he's going to get all the minutes, because they could throw Willie Reed in there. They could throw Markel Brown in there. I mean, they have a few other options. So I'm just not sold on Shane Larkin until I find out what his role is. But obviously a great tournament option. Let's move to the Boston side of the ball. Isaiah Thomas at 8,100 against Shane Larkin and company is someone I'll consider in cash. I just don't like Isaiah Thomas being that expensive, especially in a game that could turn into a blowout. I don't think that's a guy that I really want to roster. Evan Turner, surprisingly, has been very consistent lately, and if it turns into a blowout, Evan Turner should get even more minutes. I'm definitely okay with Evan Turner in a GPP, and in cash, I'll have to consider him, but I don't think that's the route I'm going to go. Excuse me. Brad Stevens just a little inconsistent with who he gives minutes to. Jay Crowder, been insanely consistent. His price has climbed up to around $6K. I like it more when he's like 52 to 5,500, but I can't deny his consistency, and against a team like Brooklyn, he should thrive. Sullinger, no. Olynyk in a tournament. Smart, no. Amir Johnson, no Amir Johnson. I think Smart is a great tournament play with Bradley being out. And with Bradley being out, it definitely gives a boost to Isaiah Thomas and will probably make us consider him even more in cash games. Again, for those taking notes, Thad Young, solid cash game option. Bojan Bogdanovic, you can play in cash or GPP. Shane Larkin in a GPP only. Isaiah Thomas, cash or GPP. Jay Crowder, cash only. Evan Turner, tournament. Olynyk, tournament. And Marcus Smart, tournament. That's pretty much all from this game. Let's move on to game number 4. You have Orlando at Detroit. We don't have a spread yet, but I'd venture to say Detroit at home is probably favored by 6 or 7 points. Again, that's just a guess. I don't have anything in front of me that's showing the spread yet. So on the Detroit side of the ball, Andre Drummond. This is a dream matchup for him as Vucevic shoots a lot, which should lead to at least a block or two. And Vucevic, not the greatest rebounder in the world. I think Drummond should eat and eat well, but at 9,300 with his volatility, he's always someone that I am hesitant to roster. Reggie Jackson, I can't go there. Marcus Morris has been playing awful, but he's always a tournament option at his low price of 5,300. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been playing really well, but his price is at 5,800, so I don't love him. Ilyasova, no. Jennings, no. Stanley Johnson, no. And that's pretty much it from the Detroit side of the ball. Let's move over to Orlando. I'm not going to play Nikola Vucevic today, but I think he's a nice tournament option as his price has climbed down a little bit to 7,700. Tobias Harris has been very consistent, and he's someone that I can consider in a cash game. But again, there's probably better options at small forward. More a guy that I would play on a smaller slate right now, not a 10-game slate. Elfrid Payton, no thanks. He's been really ineffective lately, hurt, and not playing a lot of minutes. Oladipo, I don't trust him. I don't trust his minutes, really. I don't trust the coach. I do trust Oladipo. Fournier, no. Aaron Gordon, no. Channing Frye, no. And that's pretty much it. If you're taking notes, Andre Drummond, possible cash game play. I think his price is a little too much for GPP. Marcus Morris, GPP. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, GPP. On the Orlando side of the ball, Vucevic, GPP. Tobias Harris, possible cash game option. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's go to the next game. You've got Indiana at Miami. Looks like it's a 2.5 point spread and a 192 over-under. I don't like targeting guys against either one of these teams. So them playing together is probably just the worst of both worlds. And I really don't see anything that I'm going to love here. On the Indiana side of the ball, I don't like anybody. Paul George at 8,800, you can try him in a GPP, but he's literally the only option from that side of the ball. If you go to Miami, I think Hassan Whiteside is a fine GPP play, and that's it from that side of the ball. So really an ugly game. I can almost guarantee I won't have anybody in this game for my cash lineup, and I don't think you should either. But due to it being a close spread, you can definitely try to fit a few guys in for a GPP like Paul George or Monte Ellis or Hassan Whiteside. But that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot there. Sacramento at Oklahoma City. You have an 11-point spread and a 219.5 over-under. The over-under is beautiful, but the blowout factor is definitely real, and I don't know if it's something that we can trust at all. Russell Westbrook at 10-7. No, not in cash, and probably not in GPP. I don't like spending $10,700 on a guy in a possible blowout on a slate of 10 games. It's not safe. For those of you that know me, I assess risk, and that's pretty much all I do. I mean, I am all about consistency, and the way to be consistent in cash games is to avoid guys like Russell Westbrook when it could be a blowout. I know he could go for 60 fantasy points, and I understand that, but sometimes you just have to look at the big picture and realize that there's other guys that you can get that are going to be in closer games that will stay on the floor for 4 quarters that don't cost $10,700. Kevin Durant at 9,900, I'm not going to play him either. Serge Ibaka, no. Pretty much anyone that's a starter from Oklahoma City, I'm not going to play due to the blowout risk. In a tournament, you can consider a guy like Dion Waiters. You can also consider a guy like Enes Kanter, because if a blowout does happen, they could get minutes and they could get them early. DeMarcus Cousins, I'm not going to play. You can try him in a GPP, but I wouldn't really recommend that either. Rajon Rondo, I think, is a fine GPP play, because if this game stays close, I think you could actually stack this entire game. If you want to do a stack with Westbrook, Durant, Rondo, and Cousins, I think that's a great idea for a GPP, because if it stays close or if it goes into overtime, this definitely has the most fantasy potential of any game on the slate. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't love Caspi in this game. I don't love Collison, and there's really not anybody else that I'm going to roster in a cash game. We'll see how the chips fall, but it just doesn't look good. Next game is the Spurs at Milwaukee. 9-point spread by the Spurs, and the Spurs continue to fucking dominate the league. I'm not going to roster anybody from this game, but I'll go through it with you guys anyways. Monroe, no. Carter, I wouldn't even roster anyone in the tournament from Milwaukee. There's no fantasy value here for Milwaukee. Don't even think about playing a Milwaukee Buck. I can guarantee you 100% there will not be a Milwaukee Buck in a winning tournament lineup tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard, I can't play because they blow people out and he's been too inconsistent. I learned that the other day, and I just can't do it anymore. The only guy you can consider is Patty Mills, and I think he's more of a tournament play. So in a tournament, if you want a cheap point guard to kind of fit in some studs around, I think Patty Mills is a fine option and could be a big-time sleeper. That's it from that game. This is getting pretty easy. Let's move on to Houston at Utah. Another ugly matchup. There's no spread. There's no over-under. So I don't really know how they're going to figure this, but I'm assuming it'll be a close game since it's in Utah. The only downfall is Utah plays at such a slow pace, it's going to kill all the Houston value. I can't consider anybody from this game. And real quick, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry guys, Tony Parker is out for San Antonio. So Patty Mills is a virtual lock at point guard. Keep that in mind. I like him. He's a lock. Patty Mills is. He'll be high owned. You pretty much have to put him in your cash games with Tony Parker being ruled out. Giannis and Mayo are questionable for Milwaukee, but I still don't think it makes me want to play anybody from that team. So Houston, Monte Eunice is out. Thornton's out. And for Utah, Derek Favors is questionable as always. I'm sure we'll have that news right before lock, so I'll have to fucking scramble and put something together. With Monty Eunice out, I think Capella is a decent option. But against Utah, I don't think he's going to be in my cash game lineup. You can consider Capella and Lawson for tournaments. You could even consider Harden for tournaments because he won't be high owned. If we go to the Utah side of the ball, if Favors plays, I like him. I like him a lot if he's healthy and if they confirm that he's healthy. Hayward has a really nice matchup. I think this is a great time to target Hayward at 7,500, especially if Favors is out. So the way I'm probably going to do it is if Favors is in, I'm going to play Favors, and if Favors is out, I'm going to play Hayward. Trevor Booker looks really nice if Favors is out, and Jeff Withey also looks really nice if Favors is out. But again, we're going to have to wait on that injury news, and it would be nice to have the over-under in the spread. So keep an eye out for that stuff. You can always tweet me, @InJericho's Words. I've got my info above. Or you can email me or just post below the video and I'll answer questions. The website should be done in the next couple days, and that's really going to make things a lot easier. Memphis at Portland. I would assume this is a fairly close spread. And Damian Lillard's going to be questionable. Matt Barnes, I believe it was a 2-game suspension, so I think he's going to be back. And Jordan Adams for Memphis is questionable, but I don't think anybody really cares about that. Starting with Memphis, Marc Gasol. This is a decent matchup for him at 8,100, and I am not opposed to playing him in cash or GPP, but probably lean more towards GPP. Mike Conley looks nice here, but he has the ability to dud, and I don't know if I want to pay for him at 6,700. I won't play Zach Randolph, and then the whole small forward situation I'm going to avoid altogether. On the other side of the ball, there's not a whole lot that I love here. Damian Lillard, if he plays, is a tough play because Conley is a great defender, and I would bet that Lillard plays less minutes than normal. I don't love CJ McCollum here. He's going to have tough Tony Allen defense, especially if they go with that same starting lineup from last game. And there's really not a whole lot to love. So as you can tell, the slate is going to come down to just a few games. You're going to want to target 2 or 3 games. All those, there is 10. Patty Mills looking like a lock. LeBron is looking pretty juicy with an 8-point spread at 9,800. And everything else just going to kind of fall into place. I like Thad Young in the Brooklyn game. So I would build my cash game lineup around those 3 guys for now. Let's take a look at the last game. It's Charlotte at Golden State. Steph Curry is questionable, but Harrison Barnes is probable, and Festus Ezeli is doubtful. James McAdoo's out. Leandro Barbosa is out. There's a lot of injury stuff, and of course, all the injury news is in the last game of the night, which really, really fucking sucks. But anyway, it's hard to evaluate this game, not having any of the injury news, but let's take a look at it anyway. The spread and stuff isn't out because Steph Curry news hasn't come down. If Steph Curry sits, you have to lock in Klay Thompson, you have to lock in Draymond Green, and you have to lock in Sean Livingston, and possibly Andre Iguodala. So all 4 of those guys will likely be in my cash game lineup if Curry is in fact ruled out. Now, whether we have that news or not, I really don't know. So on the Charlotte side of the ball, it looks like Hawes is questionable. If Hawes sits, I love Cody Zeller, but if Hawes plays, I don't love Cody Zeller. That is the reason I faded him last time out. Jeremy Lin and Batum and Kemba all look nice if they play, but who knows? Again, injury news is going to be key. Follow me on Twitter to get updates on that sort of stuff. It's hard to even evaluate Golden State. If Curry plays, I don't like Curry, but if Curry sits, I love Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala. There's a minor dip down to an Andre Iguodala because Harrison Barnes is back, but we don't know how many minutes he's going to play. So look for this to be where we get all our fantasy value for the night, but of course we don't have any of the injury news. So everything's going to come down to what we find out before lineup locks, and we'll have to just kind of evaluate everything from there. That's pretty much it. I told everybody that I would answer some questions on Twitter, so I'm going to go ahead and get to that. which three players have the highest ceiling tomorrow for a tournament? Looks like at Lil Coconut or at Khalid Alali. Correct me if I said that wrong, bro. But the highest ceiling for tomorrow, I think Draymond Green is probably the number one guy that you would look at when it comes to the ceiling. And I think Klay Thompson's right there with him. Obviously, all of this hinges on who plays and who doesn't play. I'm trying to pull up. Let me see. I've got my ceiling statistics in here. Just trying to pull them up for you. Sorry, I'm doing all this on the fly. I think Kevin Durant has a very high ceiling, but you probably know that, him being an expensive guy. Karl Anthony Towns is another guy that has a very high ceiling. If I'm looking at top three, I'm probably going Draymond Green, Karl Anthony Towns, and then either Klay Thompson or Derek Favors, and all of those hinge on injury news. So we'll just kind of have to keep an eye out for that. You also asked who's the best mid-tier shooting guard. Caldwell Pope, Evan Turner, Rodney Hood, or Jeremy Lamb. I think in a tournament, Caldwell Pope is your guy. I love how well he's been playing the last two games, and I think that I would roll with that. In a cash game, obviously if Jeremy Lin and Nicholas Batum are out, or even if just Batum is out, I think Lamb becomes the best cash game option of those four. So hope that answers your question. Ethan asked me if I were to stack a game for a tourney, what game would you recommend? I kind of already answered that. I would definitely stack the Sacramento-Oklahoma City game. I think that is the game to stack in a tournament. You got a 219.5 over-under, which is just fucking nuts. Vince Chinchuli, and I hope I said that right, correct me if I'm wrong, said just say cocksucker at the end of the video. Ha ha ha. So, cocksucker. You got it. It looks like that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope it was informative, as always. I tried to make this one quicker than normal. You can subscribe to my lineup service by posting below if you have any questions. You can also follow me on Twitter and just tweet at me and let me know what you need to do in order to subscribe. The prices for, and this includes a lineup, it includes unlimited direct messaging, it includes helping you build tournament lineups. I mean, I am very active on Twitter. I try to answer everybody's questions. All my subscribers can definitely attest to that. I'm very friendly, very easy to get along with, and I'm just a fucking big-ass ball of knowledge when it comes to NBA. So matchup questions, tournament questions, if you subscribe, you get all of that. It's $15 for a week, it's $50 for a month, or it is $150 for the entire NBA season, which goes all the way into June. So that's obviously the best deal if you get the season. That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for tuning in, as always, and peace out, bitches.